Hello and welcome to the video tour. It's all pretty simple to navigate and to follow the steps, so I don't think you'll have any problems, but it helps to have someone to show you around a bit, so I'm going to take you through the entire program. Now, the page you're on right now is our home page, and you can get back to this page at any time by clicking this button right up here, the home button. Now, you also have the primary navigation buttons up here, which are your frequently asked questions, your bonuses, and your contact us. You won't be needing those on a regular basis except for the bonuses, which you can also access right here in the main part of the program. Now, I would like to call your attention to the bottom part of your home page, which has some instructions on using the program. And the first place that it tells you to go to is the bad credit eliminator, which is the core of our unique system. So let's go ahead and click on that. And this takes you to the step-by-step bad credit eliminator. And as you can see, it is organized into introduction, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. Now, that's a little bit deceiving there because really the entire process is 1, 2, 3, and 6. And step 4 and step 5 are just things you can do while you're waiting to hear back from the credit bureau. So it's actually even simpler than it seems here. Now, what we've done with this program is we've taken a very complex system and we've made it extremely simple. This software actually used to be much more complex, where you entered information into a software program and entered your personal information and it spit out custom letters. And what we determined over many years of testing this is that that wasn't an effective approach. That's the approach that most credit repair services use, most credit repair software uses, and it was generating a lot of frivolous and irrelevant responses from the credit bureaus. And that's their favorite ploy to stop your investigation and dispute process in its tracks. And it's very effective. So what we did is we tried a number of different ways of disputing and came across one that was not only more effective by a large degree, but also much simpler to follow, so it was a double benefit. And that's how we came up with this system. So we abandoned the software we spent over a year creating and have come back to this very simple approach that you see in front of you now. So don't be deceived by the simplicity of it. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for everything that's in here. It's all been tested and it's all been proven. So just follow the steps and you'll see some great results. So I'm going to take you through very quickly the introduction here, which just gives you a brief rundown of what you'll be doing. And step 1, of course, tells you how to order your credit reports from all 3 credit bureaus. And it gives you links to the websites and every place you need to go to get that. And then you've got contact information for the bureaus directly, and also phone numbers, which sometimes make it easier to order. And you can also order your credit reports by snail mail. There's a form there that you can print out. You can just click on that, and that will take you to the form. It gives you, if you aren't entitled to your free credit report, then it gives you the cost of each credit report. And then once you have your credit report handled, you go to step 2. Before we go there, I just want to tell you in your bonuses there's an additional 5 different ways of getting a free credit report. So we'll take a look at that in a little while. For the most part, there's no reason to pay for a credit report. We're going to go to step 2. Step 2 is circling the negative and erroneous items and writing the explanations. Now, this is the only part where you actually have to write something, and it's only a few words. So don't panic. You don't have to write any letters. The letters are already written for you. It's a cover letter. You don't need to modify it at all. You don't even need to sign it. We'll get to that in a minute. But what you want to do once you get your credit reports is make your photocopies of them, which you can do on a flatbed printer scanner or any office supply place or any place that has a copy machine. And what you want to do is circle the items that you're disputing, and examples of that on forms like this. You can see how exactly to do that. And then you want to use one of the example explanations on this sheet here for the various types of negative credit. And if you don't want to use one of those explanations, of course, you can use your own. But those have shown to be very effective, and if they meet your particular situation, then feel free to go ahead and use those. We highly recommend it. This gives you some information about how to read the codes on your credit report. And this is just a quick example of how you circle the item and where to write it. Now, there's a reason we're writing these disputes directly on the credit reports. And that's the way the bureaus like it. And that's exactly the way that credit repair law firms or credit repair services don't do it. So this looks very consumer oriented, which means that it came from a consumer rather than from a credit repair company. That's exactly what the bureaus are looking for. They despise credit repair companies, and they will do everything they can to stop them. So as soon as they see something that looks like a credit repair company, they automatically red flag your credit dispute process and make it very difficult for you to continue. So that's why it's so important to follow these steps exactly as you see here. They're all designed for a reason, like I said, and this in particular is supposed to look kind of rough and unprofessional, and that's the entire idea. Also, they'd rather see the dispute on their own credit report. When you have software where you enter it or you type it into a cover letter, that's not how they're used to seeing those credit items, and it makes it difficult for them to find them, and they often punish you for that. So by referring to the actual credit report and putting a few words down right on the credit report itself makes it easier for them to conduct the dispute and gets them on your side right from the beginning, because for the most part there are still human beings looking at these even though they have some automated means to actually conduct the investigation. And throughout this we have some top secret insider tips that you can take a look at that can help out. And then once you're done circling that, you can hit step 3, and that is printing the cover letter and sending the dispute. By the way, if you ever see this little security thing up at the top of your Internet Explorer or other browser that says there's an ActiveX script running, please be assured that there's absolutely nothing wrong with clicking OK to acknowledge that, or like I'm going to click OK right here and put allow block content, and that way it won't come up anymore. So this is step 3, which is printing the cover letter and send the dispute. I mentioned the cover letters before. Now we call our cover letters ugly letters, and the reason we do is because they're deliberately designed to look handwritten and kind of informal and unprofessional. And the reason for that is that, again, it's supposed to look like it's coming from an individual and not from a professional credit repair company. So you don't have to sign that letter. We recommend that you don't, and just print it out and include that with the credit report. Tells you exactly how to fill out the envelopes that you're going to do. And by the way, there's other ways to dispute your credit, including online. We don't recommend that. The online dispute process is geared for the credit bureau's benefit, not for your benefit. There's absolutely still no way to beat the snail mail, sending in your dispute through the mail. We've tested many different variations of it. We've tried just about everything you can imagine, and there's nothing that is better than this. So even though it seems kind of old-fashioned, sending something in the mail and putting a stamp on it, don't sell that short, because it works better than any other process. The next step after you do that, basically it's a waiting game. The credit bureaus, by the Fair Credit Reporting Act, have 30 days to reply. And while you're doing that, you can track your disputes. Now we have a couple different ways of doing that. We have a dispute tracker spreadsheet that is something you can use to actually track your individual items. So we've got that for you if you want to track that on an Excel spreadsheet. And we've also got the automated dispute tracker. And the automated dispute tracker is a interactive approach where you can, and this is optional, by the way, this is not mandatory, but it's a good way to kind of keep you on track if you're not very well organized. But you put your name here, your email address here, the date that you sent the dispute. Now typically you'll dispute several items at a time if you have more than one item. And here's where you select which cover letter you use, which ugly letter we call them, 1 through 6. And so you would enter all that information, and then over here is where you enter this is just for your benefit, so it doesn't really matter. You would enter something like, Capital One or something like that. And then which of the three bureaus that it appears on. So by this time you'll have all three of your credit reports, and you put whether you sent that dispute to Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, or any combination of those or all three of them. And you do that for your second item, third item, fourth item. We don't recommend doing more than 4 items at a time because that will trigger a frivolous and irrelevant dispute response. And once you're all done with that, all you do is hit track them. And what that does is it sends you a series of emails that'll remind you what to do and what steps to take next time. So it's a way of kind of like staying on top of you, making sure that you're getting the maximum out of the dispute process, because a lot of times people will forget to follow up. They'll not realize how many days it's been, and so it's a good thing. So you'll be just checking your email one day, and you'll get an email that tells you exactly what to do next. It'll ask you what's happened and give you various options based on what's happened so far in your dispute process. So we recommend using it, but it's absolutely optional. Okay, now while you're waiting to hear back from the credit bureaus, you've got various things that you can do. We recommend that you read our Solving the Credit Puzzle book, which is a 131-page, very comprehensive book on the credit repair industry, and it's too long to read just for probably some casual reading, but many people have done it. But it is important to use as a resource and as a reference guide. So you can, it's all indexed, and you can find out just about any information you want in it regarding credit. We update it fairly regularly, so you'll find some, current and important information in there. Now, if you don't have time to read that, or you don't want to read that, then you can absolutely go to our Express version, which is the same thing, only just the most important parts of the program are in this, and it's still broken down by what the chapters are. So we don't even have all the chapters represented in here, but it's a 37-page version basically of the big one. So if you're going to read all of one over lunch or something, that would be a good one to do and give you a really good credit education in a very short period of time. And of course, this is a good time once you send in your disputes to go through the bonus materials. Now, the bonus materials have the audio program, and I'll go through that really quickly here. When you get the audio program, that's one of those where you have to click that little allow the script box at the top if you have Internet Explorer sometimes. So the audio program is broken down into 24 different sections, and there's short sections, but it's a great little program to educate you about the credit industry. So we do recommend that you go through that. You have all your other bonuses here. Now, these are all in PDF file format. If you have any trouble opening these, you might want to go to Adobe.com and upload your free Adobe Acrobat Reader, or just search Google for Adobe Acrobat Reader, and it's a free program that is included on most computers nowadays anyway, but you can download it for free, and makes it easier to view these PDF files. So PDF is a standard format, works on all different kinds of computers, so that's why we put them in that format. So you've got your various bonuses here. And again, they will come up in a separate window as a PDF file. And so those are all pretty much the same thing, but please go through those, and whichever one applies to you, whichever one you think you can benefit from, take some time to go through it. But do your primary dispute process first. If you have any questions about the software, you can obviously hit the frequently asked questions button at any time, and you hit the contact us button over here to get in contact with us, and any questions that you have, any problems with the software, etc., we can take care of that for you. And at any time, of course, you can hit this button right here to go back to the home page, and I didn't mention this, but when you're in the step-by-step guide, you can also, if you're on any of these steps, you can hit this image right here to go back to the step-by-step guide up at the beginning of the step-by-step bad credit eliminator program. So I think that takes you through it pretty well. You can, if you want to jump through steps here, you can always go back to this bad credit eliminator by hitting, again, this button here. And if you want to get back to the main home page, you can just hit right there. And that is your tour of the credit repair program. And we appreciate your time and thank you for your patronage.